What do you think is better? Trying to do something new and failing at it, or walking down the same beaten path and reap good results? This question has been lingering in my mind ever since I started playing a little known RPG called 8-Bit Adventures. From its title alone, you immediately understand what you're getting into. An homage to 8-bit games, or more specifically, a love letter to classic JRPGs. To be honest, this is the simplest RPG I've ever played. To many gamers, me included, that might sound like a flaw. In this day and age, we're so used to complex battle systems, stories with hundreds of characters, and a more plot twist than we can count, and cutting-edge graphics. Always the graphics. And there's none of it here. It has, however, one simple quality that's lacking in many games: honesty. It's not trying to be anything more than it is. No, it's self-aware of its own unoriginality, making no attempt to parody its predecessors. In fact, it celebrates them in an almost childlike way, playing old tropes straight in a complete serious manner. The game's lack of sales may be due to that exact problem. The aptly named The Forgotten Journey may have been forgotten due to its own design. Everything feels old, and unlike many other indie RPGs which might use pixelated graphics, there's hardly any selling point here besides nostalgia. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. It just means its reach is decreased compared to other products, and the market, being competitive as it is, bears the game under a sea of mediocrity. And that leads me to my next point. Can a story be considered bad if it fulfilled its goal despite being a simple, straightforward one? And can a story be considered a masterpiece while still having glaring shortcomings due to its own complexity? Let's take Xenogears, one of my favorites, which also happens to be hailed as a masterpiece by many JRPG fans. The story crams so much stuff on the player, with its mysteries and its philosophical and psychological reference, that it's almost impossible to keep track of everything on your first playthrough. They tried to do so much that many character arcs were cut from the final product, to not talk about the entirety of Disc 2. Now, I know it's sacrilege, but compare Xenogears with 8-Bit Adventures for a second. It's easy, right? It's not even fair. Xenogears is better, and I agree. But the latter managed to fulfill its goal, while the former fell short in several areas. Granted, their goals couldn't be any more different, but why is one considered one of the best RPGs ever made, the whole grail of game stories, while the others doomed to obscurity? I'd say there are a couple of factors, the biggest one being timing. If 8-Bit Adventures was released in the 80s, I have no doubt that it would today be hailed as a classic. It feels like an RPG straight out of the NES, only adapted to a modern audience. Instead, it was released in 2015, swallowed by a flood of similar games. Now, if Xenogears was released today, it would probably be less remembered as the ultimate JRPG experience, and more for its convoluted story and arguably bad gameplay mechanics from the battle system to the useless platform sections. The same thing can be said about the new Final Fantasy VII remake. Many fans want the same feeling they experienced back in 1997, but that's just impossible. The industry has evolved, and a story told exactly as it was 20 years ago might not fly today. It's supposed to be an adaptation, not a bit-by-bit retelling. Similarly, if Xenogears was remade today, many parts would need an overhaul. Another factor is potential. A grand story like Xenogears just oozes with potential, while a simple one like 8-Bit Adventures doesn't have much to say beyond its initial impression. People enjoy complexity in their stories, or at least the illusion of complexity, but when a game comes along and offers a straightforward experience, with no attempt to subvert or even deconstruct its cliches, they sign out. Despite this, I'd argue that in many cases less is more. If you, as a game developer, have the budget and the team, then by all means go ahead and make the best video game ever created. If, however, you are under budget and it's your first game, then have some restraint. I've been there and it's hard, but if you want to complete anything, you must be able to let go. Even if it's not the best thing ever and it's too simple for your standards, at least it's out there and you can always improve on your next one. If you like this video, please subscribe, click on the bell so you never miss an update. We have videos every Saturday. Leave a like or a comment below so I know I'm doing something right or wrong. And thank you!